Hello, and welcome to Spiritual Astrology with Allison Taylor-Moseley. Today, we are going to explore the astrological energies, transits, and spiritual themes for the week of June 24 to July 1st. We have a very exciting week ahead. The Sun trines the North Node, Venus trines Saturn, Sun squares Neptune, Mars sextiles Jupiter at the very last degree and then enters Gemini. We have a full moon in Capricorn and Jupiter enters Leo. So a lot of dynamic changes happening this week. Now, the Sun entered Cancer last week, and I feel like we've been talking about the Cancer energy for so long now, since Jupiter entered Cancer last summer and has been expanding that area of life. But Jupiter's journey is almost over. And now the Sun comes through and shines a light on everything you've accomplished in your Cancer house. So think back to last summer and how different things are now. Jupiter's brought in so much more, a broader picture to that Cancer house, to your emotional world, and has expanded the house topics in that area of life. So let's get into each transit. Wednesday, June 24, the Sun will trine the North Node at 2 degrees, 56 minutes Pisces. So you want to locate, just round up Pisces to 3 degrees Cancer and Pisces in your chart. The South Node is shining a light Pisces, where you're letting go, what you're ready to release. It feels like we have been letting go forever now, but that's what Pisces is all about. So every time those nodes get activated, it activates not only the letting go energy of Pisces, but the let it go energy of the South Node in Virgo. But there's been a lot of new happening, and that's why there's been so much letting go. When Saturn and Neptune entered Aries this year, January and February, it solidified your rebirth. It was a fresh start, a point of creation, and that comes with endings. So you might feel like you have one foot in the new door and one foot in the old door, and you might feel like you're on the threshold of getting both feet in the door. When the nodes of fate change signs, which will be in July, they will be in the Aquarius and Leo area of your chart for 18 months. The North Node will be in Aquarius and the South Node will be in Leo. This will change those themes of letting go to themes of creation, self-expression, and authenticity. So when the Sun trines the North Node on Wednesday, that brings in awareness, more purpose, confidence about next steps, because you know what you want to let go of. That Sun in Cancer has a wonderful relationship with her intuition, what her heart is telling her. So this is very uplifting. It lights your path, where you're headed, where you're letting go. And that's because you're walking in a new direction, choosing to show up differently, respond differently, choose differently, and things start coming together today. Now, this can also highlight your talents and creativity, point you in the right direction, help you evolve and grow. Things are developing very quickly right now, so you might feel like a surge of increased courage, giving you a chance to walk away from an old pattern and embrace stepping towards something new. Now, the following day, Thursday, June 25th, Venus will trine Saturn in Aries at 13 degrees, 55 minutes. So you can round up to 14 degrees, locate 14 degrees Leo and Aries in your chart. Saturn in Aries brings in something stabilizing for Venus in Leo. This is positive for relationships and collaboration, forming partnerships, signing contracts. It can help solidify your plans. It brings in support from authority figures and the right people. It's an ideal time to invest in someone or something. That could look like purchasing something expensive, a big ticket item, getting engaged, forming a partnership, solidifying a union, or just moving forward on a long-term plan in a more serious way. So any responsibilities that you have to take care of, you can get them done today, maybe with someone's help, or you move forward on something. It feels really productive, feels like things are coming together. Maybe you work through a problem, or you came to an agreement, you're finally on the same page, things feel less risky and more stable when Venus trines Saturn on Thursday. Now, also on Thursday, though, the Sun squares Neptune. And that is a little bit of a clash with the Venus trine Saturn. Locate 4 degrees, Cancer and Aries in your chart. The Sun's in Cancer, Neptune's in Aries. This can show up as a disappointment or a letdown. It can also be a hit to your ego, your vitality, your strength, your willpower. Maybe something that you really wanted feels out of reach. You feel sick or tired or fatigued or worn down. Neptune can bring in confusion and deception and illusion. So it's not the best day for negotiations and signing deals because things are less clear. You're not operating at full strength. So you have that Venus trine Saturn, which is good for solidifying things and stabilizing things. But that Sun square Neptune can bring in some disappointment, or maybe you just don't feel physically strong that day, but you're still making progress on something. So be aware that there could be some mixed feelings coming through this week. Now, jumping ahead a few days to Sunday, June 28, Mars will sextile Jupiter at 29 degrees. So you're going to locate 29 degrees Taurus, which is where Mars is, and 29 degrees Cancer, which is where Jupiter is. Jupiter is at the end of her journey in Cancer, and now she's connecting with Mars in a supportive sextile to get things done. Mars wants a job, wants to take care of something, wants to solve a problem. This is positive for getting things started, taking action. It helps facilitate business and negotiations, can aid in winning people over. That Mars in Taurus is wrapping up what matters because she's at that 29th degree, wrapping up things you need to take care of. Maybe there's a last minute home and family matter that needs attention. This can also be helpful for dealing with legal matters or authority figures. It can encourage working well together. So if you have like work or a personal matter, it's easier to get the support that you need because others are more optimistic, more hopeful, people are in better spirits, and you just feel physically stronger. You have more endurance and stamina to get things done, especially related to home, family, and private life. So it's a good day to make a lot of progress, especially if you are feeling a little run down a few days before with the Sun square Neptune. And later that day, Mars enters Gemini, and she gets even busier. She's working towards that conjunction with Uranus, but that won't happen until July 4th. But there's a buzz in the air. And Mars in Gemini invites in a whole new energy to work with. It increases the pace of daily life. Things start moving faster. There's more going on. Mars is very active in Gemini. She wants to get things done, but it's not about huge undertakings. It's about errands, small projects, maybe taking up a new hobby, visiting a friend across town, taking a short trip. Mentally, she's chasing new ideas, planning something, maybe something local, something with children, education, teaching, writing, publishing, podcasting. Maybe you have something to say. Mars and Gemini can jump from one idea to the next, move from place to place, start many new things at once. And when Mars moves through Gemini, it's just a busier time in your life. You're just juggling more things. And she stays there until August 11th. And you can read a more in-depth description and detailed journey about each transit that Mars makes on a separate article that I will link below. So this is an important energy that we're going to work with for the rest of June and all of July and half of August. June, July, and August are significant life-changing months where we have a very rare minor grand trine forming. And for Mars to be working with that Gemini energy at the same time indicates that our actions at that time are going to be influenced by the information that we're receiving in the news and on social media, by what's happening in our neighborhood, in our local spaces. There's more buzz and more activity around all forms of travel. Plus, Mercury rules Gemini, and Mercury goes retrograde the following day, June 29. So just know that Mars in Gemini is going to be faced with choices. So you need to be clear about what you want, where you're going, but also adaptable, because there's going to be a lot of unexpected change and disruptions in the air. So you might change your mind. In Gemini, we often do things twice. Mars might have to make a choice, go in a new direction as new information comes in. There can also be arguments and debate with Mars and Gemini. You don't want to use your words as a weapon. Instead, use them to inspire and motivate people. So Mars can activate what you're thinking, what you're processing, what you're analyzing. And this can activate your throat chakra. So be aware and intentional with not only your words, but your thoughts and the information you're taking in. Mars is going to connect with the North Node, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto, and then Venus to activate more of those Gemini energies in your chart. So definitely read all about that energy, because it will be a very dominant energy, and it's going to make things really busy over these next couple of months. Now, the following day, Monday, June 29, there's a full moon in Capricorn, and that is when Mercury also stations retrograde. The full moon happens at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or that would be June 30th at 2:56 a.m. Central European Time. So for those of you who don't know yet, I am moving from Austin, Texas to the south of France on July 6th. So I will be including Central European time zones for my own understanding. But at this full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite one another. The moon at 8 degrees Capricorn and the sun at 8 degrees Cancer. So locate that in your chart. The ruler of the full moon is Saturn in Aries. Saturn rules Capricorn. So this is putting a focus on work, your long-term goals and responsibilities, on what you're building in your Aries house, and maybe it brings in that reality check. Something's culminating around those Capricorn themes in your life. What house is that for you? What's coming to an end? What are you coming to understand about something in this house? This is an excellent time to reevaluate your goals, since it is the halfway point in the year since January, where we made resolutions and goals for the upcoming year. Now, here we are at the halfway point. It's time to take stock. Evaluate how far you've come with your long-term plans. Does the plan need adjustments? Do the action steps need to change? How much progress have you made? Is there time to complete what we set out to do, or do I need to let some things go? What do I need to finish before the year ends? These are all things that can come up. Now, Mars rules Aries. She just made a sextile to Jupiter and then entered Gemini at 0 degrees and is working towards a conjunction to Uranus, which happens July 4th. So this full moon is showing you everything you need to know now that Mars has changed signs and Jupiter's about to change signs and Mercury's going retrograde. So be open to what happens Sunday when Mars sextile Jupiter and what that spurs on, because Jupiter's going to enter Leo the following day. So there's a lot of changes, and that full moon brings attention to your long-term goals and asks you to evaluate where you are with them. Now, Mercury stations retrograde at 26 degrees Cancer. So your mind is going inward, internally processing how you feel about something. And there could be a tug of war between what you're responsible for, your long-term goals and plans, and then what matters to you, how you feel, what's comfortable, which is represented by Cancer. Maybe you've been working really hard on something and you just want to rest and relax. This can be a time when you evaluate your hard work how far you've come. Maybe you're not sure what you want to do next or what the next step is. But that following day, you get a burst of creative energy and things might become really clear because Jupiter enters Leo June 30th. It's such an energy shift. Jupiter leaves the moody, cautious, internal energy of Cancer, where she's been since summer 2025, into the fiery, passionate, expressive energy of Leo. I just put out a podcast including a very detailed, extensive description of Jupiter's journey through Leo, which I will link below. Jupiter in Leo is a larger than life creative energy that's going to burst open doors for your self-expression. The last time Jupiter was in Leo was July 16, 2014 to August 11, 2015. Now you've come full circle. Jupiter's going to stay in Leo from June 30, 2026 to July 26, 2027. A full year of abundance, growth, and opportunity in your Leo house. This is a huge confidence booster. It's not the time to sit back on the sidelines. This is a time to express yourself, put yourself out there. This can be a time when you find a platform to showcase your talents. Even the shyest people might crave recognition for their talents, whatever that means for you. Where's Leo in your chart? The South Node is going to enter Leo in July, so that's going to bring more attention to the lower vibrations of Leo, like ego work, learning to share the spotlight, and showing you what you need to let go of that's no longer a frequency match for where you're going when it comes to your ego, how you seek attention, admiration, and recognition. And Jupiter is going to be working with that energy over the next year. And that Jupiter will sextile Uranus in Gemini, trine Neptune in Aries, and oppose Pluto in Aquarius. She aligns with that very rare minor grand trine. The opposition to Pluto can be a little problematic, but the bigger picture is that it's helping you transform your life and showing you a new source of power that you didn't have access to before. So remember, these challenging times come with gifts. So there's a lot of shifting this week due to two planetary changes, Mars and Jupiter changing signs, plus Mercury stations retrograde on the day of the Capricorn full moon. So there's something to evaluate regarding your plans, the details, maybe travel plans, maybe appointments, conversations that need to be had. Maybe you have to go back over something. Mercury works with the details, and Cancer is about your internal emotional world. So what's changing there? Is there a shift in perspective that needs to happen? How does that relate to the Capricorn house, which is about your long-term goals? That Mercury retrograde doesn't mean that things slow down. It just means that you have to reevaluate things. And now that Mars has left Taurus, there's a lack of earth energy, which is what grounds us. We do have that Chiron in Taurus, but it's a sensitive spot. So it's even more important to incorporate self-care and grounding activities into your daily routine now more than ever. Meditation, cardio, frequent walks, showers, positive affirmations, daily journaling, whatever you find that grounds you and clears your energy. You could be having the same breakfast every day, but there is this need to become consistent, to do something consistent and grounding during these strong air and fire energies. So thank you for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. Please share this with anyone you feel would benefit from this message. And remember, your frequency is a choice. So choose the frequency that aligns with where you want to be. Take care and talk soon.